just to make sure that I get you on my screen. Okay, for the first minute, all we're gonna do our regular little bounce, but we're gonna try to get our body bouncing and then let your body be like kind of think spaghetti loose. So just let your body be as loose and as jiggly as you can. So even if that means that your heels don't actually leave the ground this time, so a light little bouncing at the heels, a little soft bouncing at the knees, any soft bouncing that you could find, but then just let your, if it feels okay to do so, close your eyes down for just a second and just let your body tune in and feel that bouncing sensation rather than worrying about what your bouncing looks like. So if it feels all right to do so, close your eyes down, let your body bounce, let your fingers jiggle, let your knees bounce, let your belly bounce a little bit, let your chest bounce a little bit. And then when you got that bouncing going on, if your eyes are closed, just take a second to notice your breath. Take a nice big inhale. Notice your exhale. Take about 3 more cycles of breath. And time. Nicely done. Okay, give everything a good shake. Grab your TheraBand. The next 30 seconds, it's just going to be a shoulder over. So a nice wide grip, as wide as feels good to you on your TheraBand. And we're going to go up and overhead and then back in front. If your shoulders don't do that full range of motion, just stick with the front. Go up and down here, get a little bit of lubrication in the shoulder joint. And then if it feels good, you'll just pass it around the back and take a couple in the backside. But if it feels great to your shoulders, you're going to take it up and overhead, big giant movement, and let the TheraBand kind of move with you. So let it pull apart so that your shoulders move really comfortably in that position. But then once you've got that shoulder up and over pass going on, notice your head position. My head does have a tendency to want to kind of jut forward when I do that up and overhead. So see if you can keep your head in a stationary position and think about firming up your belly. Squeeze your butt together just a little bit to keep your glutes nice and strong. All right, now take it up and overhead and take it into a light little side bend, just to wake up the side body, bring a little space in between the ribs. And time. Nicely done. Okay, lower it down. We're going to stick with that TheraBand, but we're going to stagger our stance. So 1 foot forward, 1 foot slightly back. That's just to create a little bit of an imbalance and make us keep our core nice and engaged. Now we're going to walk our hands nice and close on that TheraBand, pull it apart so it's about shoulder distance apart, and we're going to do those elbow scrapes. So you're going to stagger your stance, and then you're just going to scrape your elbows and then pull them back in. Their first 30 seconds, palms facing up, and 1 foot back. And we'll switch our footing and then we'll switch our palms, but everything else is going to stay in that same range of motion. So we're pulling the elbows into the ribs and then lifting the palms up, almost as if you're trying to present a tray of food. Notice how your shoulders feel here. We do have a good amount of shoulder work today, so just kind of tune in. We're getting those shoulder stabilizer muscles kicking on here. All right, when you're ready, switch your stance. Flip your palms and then right back to it. Nice shoulder width distance, scraping the elbows, lifting up, and then pulling it back in. Yes, nice work. Ten seconds left. And time. Beautiful. Okay, grab one single weight. If your shoulders have a tendency towards a little bit of mischief, I would say go lighter weight, but then you'll see when we get there what weight might feel good. All right, so we're going to step into a little bit more of a lunging position, but in our lunge, we want both feet flat on the ground. So sometimes we can go to that deep lunge where the heels in the back is lifted up. Get a shorter range of a lunge position. Load up the hand that the leg is in front, and that hand is going to hang down at your side. So you got that nice lunging position. And then we're going to lean back into that back leg and move forward. And we're going to think farmer's carry. So we're going to keep the arm away from the side of the body. And then we're going to push forward into the knee. So there's a light bit of twisting in the spine and then a nice bit of transfer of weight, but the shoulder is engaged the whole time, holding out and away from that side body. So lean into the back leg, lean into the front leg, let the torso turn, keep the shoulder engaged. Nice work. Once you've got that going on, if it feels good, you're going to add a shoulder roll. So as you come forward, you're going to roll up, around, and back. If that does not feel good to your shoulder, you'll leave that roll off. But if it feels okay to be there, keep rolling. All right, and then if you've got that shoulder roll going on and it's feeling good, you're going to keep everything else as it is, but roll the other way. Torso moves a little bit. We're transferring our weight a little bit. Got 3 seconds left. Nice work. And time. Beautiful job. Okay, now we're going to step it into a little bit more of a lunge, but grab your second hand weight. Now from our lunge, now we're going to take it into 30 seconds of knee dip. So keep that leg forward that you had. Other leg is in the back. Load up at the shoulders, and 30 seconds, all we're doing is dipping the knees. So how far you dip your knee, what feels the strongest to you, where do you feel the most comfortable? There should be no pain. We should feel the quadricep muscles or tops of the thighs working pretty good. You might feel your calf muscles working, your hips working a little bit, but make sure that your knees feel safe and comfortable. Ten more seconds. All right, now we're going to keep that lunging position, keep that little dip in the knee, and now take it right into some hay balers. Same as we did Friday. So we're just taking it to the hip, tossing it over the shoulder, but keep your legs as strong as you can. Use your oblique muscles, your core center muscles, and those side belly muscles to help find this good rotational movement. And time. Nicely done. Okay, come on up. Shake out that lunge. Now we're going to take it into a squatting position. We're going to do this particular thing twice, one in one direction, and then the third, when we get to it again, we'll go in the other direction. So start by finding a little squatting position, and then think about a diamond shape on your mat. So we're going to step to the points of a diamond. So step to the side, step to the back, step to the other side, and forward. Once you've got that down, now we're going for speed. We're going to hold and maintain that squat position. We're going to try to not look down at the floor, but walk into those points of your diamond shape. Keep loaded up at your chest or your shoulders. If loading up feels like a little much, considering that you're going for a little bit of speed, leave the weights off. But if it feels okay to be there, without looking down at the ground, step into those points of your diamond. Nice work. Keep your knees nice and bent. Now, how deep you are in your squat, where do you feel the strongest? That's what we're shooting for here. Heart rate's going to get up just a little bit. We got 20 seconds left. You got this. And time. Beautiful. Come on up. Shake your legs out. But now we're going to take all of that to the other side. So we're going to start with that lunge. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, so that we have both feet solid on the ground. Load up that front hand only. And then just start by finding that forward and back transition of weight. Once you're there, noticing how your knees feel, making sure that both feet are flat on the ground. And we're keeping that farmer's carry so that the arm is held away from the side of the body. If all of that is feeling good, now you're going to add that shoulder roll. You're rolling the shoulder around, but make sure that feels good. And one side might be totally different than the other. So make sure you honor one side versus the other. Nicely done. Okay, when you're ready, reverse those shoulder circles and go the other way. But everything else stays the same. Both feet are solid on the ground. We're transferring our weight slightly forward and back. There's a light bit of rotation in the torso and that movement in the shoulder, but only if it feels good. And time. Beautiful job. Okay, now we're going to take it into that lunge with the knee dips. So grab your second weight, load up, and take it into those knee dips. Dipping down, coming back up nice and strong. 30 seconds on the clock. How far you dip that knee is totally up to you. For some of us, a big wide lunge and the knee touches all the way down to the ground might feel amazing. And for some of us, it might feel better to stay in a more controlled range of motion. So make sure you pay attention to your knees, to your hips, to the muscles in your body. Make sure everything feels good. Nice work, you guys. Beautiful. All right, when you're ready, take it into those hay bellers, taking it over to the hip, tossing it over the shoulder. Make sure your legs feel solid on the ground. And then once your legs feel solid, use those core muscles, use those side body muscles, your oblique muscles to help you find that rotational movement. And time. Nicely done. Okay, come on up. Shake those legs out. Now we're back to the squat, but we're going in the other direction. So find that squatting position. And then we're stepping the 4 points of our diamond. Find those 4 points. And then once you're there, with as much speed as you like, go as fast as you have control of. Try not to look down at the floor if you can help it. So we want to tune in to that proprioception. Where is your body connected to the space that you're working in? Can you move fast using your peripheral vision and your proprioception to know where you are so you keep your body safe? Nice work. Nice speed, you guys. It looks amazing. Three seconds left. And time. Beautiful. Come on up. Shake your legs out. All right, now we're going to go for some loaded roll downs. So stand with your feet about hip width distance apart. You're going to tuck chin to chest, micro bend the knees. Imagine that you're peeling your back away from a wall. Roll all the way down as far as feels good. And then pull the abdominal muscles in. Roll up, shoulders down and back. Bend your knees, tuck your chin, roll all the way down. And then in this roll down, if you like that little extra challenge, you could always stand on a yoga block or a little step stool, and that'll challenge that roll, or it'll challenge your balance a little bit as you roll down. But if you're already getting plenty of good work here, without that step, leave that part off. Roll down just as far as feels good. Keep that micro bend in your knees so you're not pulling against those hamstring muscles too much. Amazing, you're already halfway there. Nice work. And time. Beautiful. Okay, find a halfway folded position. So we're going to take it into some bent over rows. So bend your knees a little bit, hinge from your waist. We're going to go wide row. So we're going to pull the elbows out to the side like you're making that little scarecrow, and then lower them back down with control. And as you do that work here, we want to focus on finding a little bit of a squeeze in between the shoulder blades as we drive those elbows up, and then lower with that same amount of control. So pull up and down with the same rhythm. So it's not the weight is just pulling down and dropping with gravity. Pull the weights up with control, lower them down with control. And then once you've got that going on, focus on some other things. Notice your abdominal muscles. Is your belly pulled in just a little bit so your back feels strong? Nice work. 20 seconds left. And time. Beautiful. Come all the way up. Now our last minute of speed, we're going to do our running arms, but we're going to stagger our stance again, just to challenge the balance. So step 1 foot slightly back, and then like you're running, but just your arms are doing the run. So we're going to keep our legs as solid as we can. Staggering the stance is going to challenge them a little bit. We'll switch our stance in 30 seconds, but everything else is going to stay as it is. So just drive those arms like you're running, but it's just your arms that are doing that pumping action. Keep your belly slightly firm so the torso stays pretty stationary. Nice. 10 more seconds here, and then we'll switch our legs, but everything else will stay as it is. Beautiful. When you're ready, switch your stance, but keep everything else going. Seven seconds left. How fast can you go? Nice, you guys. Amazing. And time. Beautiful. Come on up. Shake out your legs. All right, now we're going to come down into a tabletop position. Take your weights with you and have your TheraBand nearby. We're going to come into our tabletop. It's going to be a bird dog position. We're going to use one single weight. So opposite hand, opposite foot are going to be doing the work. Your left leg is either going to extend out and up or down onto the ground, something that creates a little bit of instability. But then your opposite hand is going to be doing a row, but this time we're going to keep it close. So the elbow scrapes the side of the ribs and lowers back with control. So leg up or leg down, totally up to you, but maintain a sense of balance and then pull that elbow up. We got 1 minute on the clock. We're holding this position for the full minute, and then we switch over to the other side. So we want to keep a nice stability in our center. So that left shoulder, the hand that's on the ground, that's going to be as stable as it can be. Don't forget to breathe. Awesome, you're already halfway there. If that leg becomes too much, you can always set the toe down. You'll still be imbalanced. It'll still challenge your center, but it might just let your glutes relax a little bit. But if it feels good to keep it lifted, that nice big challenge. Ten seconds left. And time. Nicely done. Okay, we're switching over to the other side. So pass your weight over to the other hand, extend your leg long. And again, one side might be totally different than the other, so it might feel better to keep the toe on the ground or keep it lifted. You'll see what feels best to you here. Where do you feel strongest and most stable? And then away we go. We're scraping the elbow up towards the rib, keeping everything else as stationary as we can. Amazing. Everybody looks so solid. I can't stand it. It's awesome. Nice work. You're already halfway there. Now, if that leg lifted becomes too much, you always have the option to put the toe down. But if everything is feeling solid, 20 seconds left. And time. Nicely done. Okay, lower your legs, set your weight down, stay with that tabletop position, but the next minute is going to be some scapular circles. So we're going to roll the shoulders like you would do, rolling the shoulders up to the ears, around, down, and back, but with your hands on the ground. So it's going to be a chest drop, circle around the shoulders, moving in one direction for 30 seconds. So find a little rhythm here. Your elbows will want to move with you just a little bit. Let them do what they need to do, but try to find most of that circular movement coming out of the scapula or out of the shoulder blades. 5 more seconds in this direction, and then just kind of notice, how do your shoulders feel? If this is really precarious for them, lighten up that movement a lot. All right, when you're ready, we're going in the other direction. Circle the other way. Nice, 5 seconds left. You got this. And time, beautiful. Okay, we're gonna come into a side plank. It's gonna be 30 seconds one side, 30 seconds on the other side. But if you can get yourself set up, elbow and forearm down. Now you might choose to keep that bottom knee in a bent knee position. What we're shooting for is holding and maintaining a side plank, but with a little added on hot potato. So the top leg is gonna be toe pointed down, and we're gonna hop that foot forward and back. So you can keep the bottom leg bent if that feels like a better way to go, or extend it long, wherever you feel the strongest, but find your side plank first. That might be your work. You might be working on just finding that side plank nice and stable. But if you've got that side plank, toe pointing down, we're hopping that foot up and over. So think front edge of your mat, back edge of your mat. Yes, nice. Ten more seconds on this side. All right, when you're ready, lower down with control, flip it over to the other side. Spin yourself around or flip yourself around, whatever gets you there, but elbow and forearm down, bottom knee is bent, top leg is extended, and now we're shooting for that hot potato. So find your side plank first, nice and stable, and then away we go. That foot is hopping forward and back with the toe pointing down. Why the toe pointing down? It's causing that little internal rotation of that thigh bone, and it binds those sides of the glute muscles just a little bit better. And time, beautiful. Okay, now we're gonna come into a plank, low plank with knees down, or a full plank, that'll be totally up to you. But now we're gonna find a little bit of rotation and reach. So if you keep your knees down, you're gonna swing your feet over to one side, pivot just a little bit so you can reach one hand up. Now, if you're working on your planking and that's not there for you today, then you're just going to do a little bit of a transfer of weight. Pick up one hand and then the other. So you're gonna get those oblique muscles to start kicking on and holding and supporting you here. If all of that feels amazing and you want that high plank, you're going to extend the legs long, and we're just pivoting through. Rotate on your feet, one hand up and then the other. You don't have to go super fast. And in fact, I prefer a slow controlled maneuver over fast, especially in these planks, so you can find that work in the side of your body. "20 seconds left. Knees up, knees down, totally up to you. Where are you at this morning? All right, next time you come through center, bring your knees down if they weren't already there. We're setting up into a tabletop position, but then with a little variation, what do you like best? Elbows and forearms down. We're gonna alternate our donkey kicks. So one leg is gonna reach up towards the sky, bring it in with control, switch over to the other side. If you prefer more traditional tabletop, support yourself on your palms. But if it feels good to come down elbows and forearms, whatever keeps you in a nice solid position. So we want most of this work coming out of the butt muscles and the big thigh muscles. Torso stays pretty solid. Shoulders are nice and braced. All right, now for the next 20 seconds, can you keep your belly pulled in? And rather than your belly arching as you lift your butt up, can you think about pulling the belly button towards the spine, lift your leg, but no arching in the back? 5 seconds left. Nice, Linda, that looks beautiful. Man, you guys look awesome. Great job. All right, when you're ready, come on up, spin yourself around. We're gonna sit on our butt and we're taking it right into a half roll back. So we're gonna grab the sides of the thighs. We're gonna think abdominal muscles in, roll your way back like you're rounding your back, and then restack your spine, come up nice and tall. Roll halfway back, feel those core muscles kick on, lift back up nice and strong, and that's all the work you gotta do. Roll back just to the point where you wanna collapse, and then lift back up, and then find that big tall spine. If that's all feeling good and you want to release your hands, imagine that you're holding a big beach ball in front of your torso. Roll back, come back up nice and strong, but same maneuver here. We want to keep that spine nice and stacked as we come up and keep the core muscles engaged without losing that integrity in the spine. Nice. That, you guys look amazing. Beautiful. You're already halfway there. And time, nicely done. Okay, grab your TheraBand. We're gonna bring the TheraBand out in front of us. So we're gonna take it into a V sit and we're gonna hold the TheraBand so that it's about shoulder width distance apart. So walk your hands together so they're pretty close and then pull it apart and hold and maintain that shoulder distance and then lean back into your V sit. You should feel those core muscles kick down. You should be able to poke your fingers into your belly and you should feel those stomach muscles. So if you're not finding it, lean back just a little bit more. Keep that pull apart, and then one hand is going to lift up and then the other. So we're going to alternate between the two. One hand is going to stay as stationary as it can, and the other one is going to lift as high as it can. And the whole entire time, we're maintaining that V sit. So sit back, get those core muscles engaged, and then try not to wobble too much as you lift one leg and lift one hand and steady the other. That's the way. Now, if you want more challenge, you got to lift those legs up and hold that position. But everything else is the same. We're keeping those abdominal muscles kicked on, stabilizing one shoulder as we lift the other. Nice. And time. Woo! Sit on up. Set your TheraBand off to the side. We're going to extend the legs out and then step them wide. So feet are going to be about the distance of your yoga mat if you're working with a yoga mat, or maybe there's about 2.5 feet between your heels. Once you've got your way there, hands behind the head. And then I should always say this, if we're in these upright seated positions and you have a tendency for your back to want to round, sit on a pillow or sit on a folded up blanket and it'll elevate your hips and it might make that position feel just a tad more comfortable. Also here, if your hamstrings are wicked tight, bend your knees considerably, hands behind the head pushing into the hand. We're gonna rotate, add a little side bend, come out of the side bend, unwind, come back to center. Rotate, side bend, back up, and re-rotate. And then the trick here, once you've got that going on, is to pay attention to your hips and your feet. We want to keep our hips and our feet as stable as we can. So if it feels like your butt kind of wiggles as you rotate, or one cheek pulls forward as you try to rotate, try to keep your hips as steady and heavy on the ground without moving as you find good rotational movement through the torso, but the hips stay grounded and the heels stay grounded. And time. Beautiful job. Okay, relax your legs. grab your TheraBand. We're going to use our TheraBand for a little stretch. So we're going to take our TheraBand in a little bit of a loop, catch hold of the bottoms of the feet, and then extend your legs nice and long. And now we're going to pull the elbows in nice and tight towards the side body. Bend your knees a little bit. We're going to think hip hinge. So we're going to pull the elbows back as we lean the heart forward, just to a point where what we want to shoot for is to find a little stress or a little sensation in the back of the thigh muscles or in your hamstring muscles. So elbows are pulled nice and tight. Think elbows back, heart forward, but keep that long position of the spine. And then once you feel a little stress or a little stretch in the hamstring muscles, stay there. Take 3 nice big breaths. Cool. Lift up through the top of your head. Come up with that nice long spine. Keep one foot in your loop. The other foot is going to slip out. And then once you've got one foot in, one foot out, we're going to pull it up a little closer and we're going to pump the brakes. So keep a tight pull on that TheraBand. Give about 3 to 5 good pumps, like you're pumping on the gas pedal or pumping on the brake pedal. Nice. And then the next time the leg kicks forward, keep a micro bend. And now we're going to choke up on our TheraBand just as much so that you get a good handhold, and then start to lift that leg up just as high as feels good. Take one more breath. Awesome. Lower it with control. We're going to slip the other foot in. Once your other foot is in the loop, slip the other foot out. And then once you got it, lift it up, choke up as much as you can, and then pump the brakes. Push the heel forward, bend the knee and pull it in. Awesome. One more pump of that brake pedal. And then the next time the leg is extended out, keep a micro bend in the leg. Lift the leg up just to the point again where you feel that little stress in the back of the thigh muscle. Beautiful. With control, release your foot out of your loop, and then we're going to bring soles of the feet together, knees out to the left and the right. So into a little butterfly position. But once you've got that butterfly, and what your diamond looks like on your butterfly, just totally up to you. Where do you feel the most comfortable? Once you've got it, hands to the insides of the knees. We're going to push the knees up, and the hands are going to create a resistance. So push your knees up, let your hands create that resistance, and hold that resistance for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax your knees, hinge forward, and just go to a fold that feels good to you. It should feel soft. Your knees should feel comfortable. Your back should feel comfortable in this position. So it doesn't really matter how deep you go, because all of our hips are set slightly different. So you just want to find a good fold for you. Nice. Take one more breath. And then come up nice and slow, stand all the way up, grab your TheraBand, and we're going to hit those shoulders real quick before you get on with the rest of your day. So grab your TheraBand, bring it behind the back with a good comfortable distance so your arms can move freely away from the back of the body. And then once you've got that going on, bend your knees a little bit, hinge from your waist, fold over, let your arms fall away from the back of your body. Take one more moment. And then when you're ready, release your arms, come up nice and slow and controlled. Take your time as you come up. Set your TheraBand down. You guys are amazing. Grab your Pilates ball if you're sticking around.